And Senator Cardin, this sounds like, at this point, if anything gets done, it's going to be a much smaller deal, at least in the lame duck.
Well, Becky, it's desperate. We really need to get legislation done. The coronavirus is now at record levels. The impact on our economy is dramatic, and small businesses are really suffering. So we really need to get a major stimulus package passed. We did that in mid-March, and we need something as dramatic again to be passed by Congress. So for small businesses, yes, we need a second round of PPP, but we also need help for state and local governments. We need to make sure American families have the resources they need in order to participate in our economy. So we're going to try to get something done. It's been challenging, but I can tell you small businesses cannot survive a couple months without help.
Yeah, Senator, that would be my point, too. I mean, there are so many who are in such need, whether it be small businesses, whether it be people who have lost their jobs because of this pandemic. You mentioned the states and the local municipalities that need help. But if you can't get help for all of them, are you going to say, forget it, we get help for no one? Because Mitch McConnell has made it pretty clear that he's not feeling anywhere near as generous as the original offers that had been coming from Mnuchin had been.
Well, we're going to work to get whatever we're going to try to get as much done as possible, but we're certainly willing to sit down and look at what is possible. I must tell you, I don't understand Mitch McConnell. The circumstances out there are desperate. Small businesses are not going to do well unless our economy recovers, unless we get the virus under control, unless small state and local governments can help them. So it really requires a comprehensive approach. But obviously, we recognize the politics and we recognize how desperate things are. So there's conversations taking place, and we're willing to sit down and try to work out a reasonable compromise.
Do you think that it's more likely that we see a smaller package passed now and potentially something else that you come back and try and tackle in January?
You know, I really don't know. We know that President Trump has been on again, off again in negotiations. Leader McConnell has been pretty consistent about trimming the package down and down and down. As the virus is going up, he wants the federal response to be smaller and smaller and smaller. So at this point, with the number of cases every day spiking, the number of people in our hospitals are overloaded, I think the American people demand that we be bold. So I am hopeful that Leader McConnell will let the Senate take up a bolder package.
It doesn't seem likely, not based on what he's been saying recently, not based on what he's been saying for months at this point. I'm just trying to get a realistic read on what people can expect. We did talk to a restaurant owner earlier this morning, a mid-sized restaurant owner with about 50 restaurants, who says, you know, he's not going to be able to get through if he doesn't get as generous of a package as he received the first go-around with PPP.
And as you know, we've been negotiating with the House and with the Democrats and Republicans on the small business provisions. We are confident that we can work out a package. The challenge is how much resources will they give us and how does it fit into the overall package? So we're prepared to sit down and work out something that's reasonable. But I'll repeat what I said earlier. Small businesses will not survive unless our economy gets back on track. So someone who's unemployed, who doesn't have resources, they're not going to be using that restaurant. But someone that relies upon the services of state and local governments. They've had so many programs to help our business community. They can't do it any longer because they just don't have the resources to do it. So, yes, we'll try to get as far as we can, but understand that we're going to lose a lot of small businesses. We're going to have a major impact on our economy if the federal government doesn't step up and provide a comprehensive program.
Okay, let's just deal with the politics of the situation, though, because politics are what got us to this position where nothing was done before the election, which, you know, there was so much need before the election. You've got Mitch McConnell saying he's not going to do this. Is Nancy Pelosi in the House still standing as firmly that she's not doing anything less than she thinks is necessary? Because if that's the case, nothing's going to get done. There are going to be months where everybody just sits around, the lame duck Congress just sits around, businesses suffer, Americans suffer. And then we have to wait until at least January when there's a new Congress seated and inauguration day for the president.
Well, we know that Speaker Pelosi has already brought in a compromise package with the Heroes 2.0. That's a smaller package than the original package they passed in mid-May. So she's already shown a willingness to compromise. Then after they came out with their
You guys are still trillions of dollars apart between the two sides. So it's going to take more on both sides. I agree that Mitch McConnell came out this kind of crazily when he said he wanted to offer less than $1 trillion, $500 billion, which is so far down from what the White House had even been advocating. But now you've lost the White House in this fight. So it seems like the complications, the hurdles have gotten higher. What are the odds that something gets done before Inauguration Day?
Make no mistake about it, the White House is still engaged in this discussion. We know that the President Trump, the way that he operates, and you are absolutely correct. The President's numbers and Speaker Pelosi's numbers were pretty close before the election. So we hope we can get back in that level.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.